Good morning and welcome. If everyone that is here today can just type into chat and let us know you can hear us okay. We're thrilled to have you on a what I call a Friday morning. So it's a happy Friday Central, and to my East Coasters, good afternoon. We're really excited to have Denise Meyer on the call with us today. Denise, just absolutely thrilled to have you. Looks like we have a good group coming in. We're going to monitor chat. This is, as you guys know, you're at many of these every Friday with us, and they're pretty fast. We do it in 30 minutes or less. And so I'm going to ask you to get familiar with that chat box. If you have questions, we'd love for you to throw those in here just because of the limited amount of time. So with that being said, looks like a lot of people can hear us, and we're ready to go. Denise, I think it was last year around this time, you and I put together or finally figured out that we're both from northeastern Arizona,
Crazy,
born and
isn't it?
raised or grew up, right? And pretty pretty crazy too in northeastern Arizona. So we finally put that together, which was really cool. But Denise, gosh, you've been in the real estate industry for quite some time. I'm not going to date you or me on that part of it all, but if you can, give everybody just a quick taste, right? Like tell them a little bit about you, who you are, where you've been, and a little bit about what we'll be talking about today.
Well, thank you so much. It's so good to see you guys. I see some folks in the chat that I know, so that's really fun and exciting. Let's see, I got into real estate because my whole goal was to earn more than I could waitressing. So like literally, not a lot of people know that about me. And that at the time, that was like $16,000 a year. So that was a little while ago. And fast forward, my first year in the business, I had been doing it for a couple of months, made absolutely no money. And said to my broker at the time, I said, hey, I will do exactly what you tell me to do. But if you don't tell me what to do, I need to go get a job. And I really didn't want to do that again. And so she hooked us up with Mike Ferry tapes when Mike Ferry's hair was this big. And we'd sit in our living room, Shaun, every Thursday morning and watch these VHS tapes.
Oh.
Okay, like that's how
So we are going to date ourselves today, aren't we, Denise? Yeah.
I
That's
dated
good.
it, yeah. And I'm proud of it, right? So he said, call expired listings. And back then he'd say things like, just write down intelligent questions about real estate and ask them. But, I hadn't sold any houses and I never had bought a house. So I would write these questions down and I'd call my broker and I'd just like role play and I'd ask her these questions. And she goes, that sounds great. And then I called my husband and I did the script and he was very analytical and he goes, that sounded good, but I would change. And I'd go click. And I didn't make one call for 3 months.
Yep.
So,
Kind of perfected it, didn't you?
yeah. So 3 months later, I picked up the phone, called the broker, did a new script, and she said, that's good. And don't call him. Just make calls.
Yeah.
And I took 11 listings that month.
11 listings? Are you kidding? How many of those were expireds, Denise?
All of them.
Oh my gosh.
All of them were expireds.
Yeah. So that's perfect, right? We're setting the table. Today, we're going to talk about expireds. We're going to talk about follow-up and how to have really impactful conversations, right? Now, Denise, the stats just came out. Inman released a couple. I don't know if I believe it fully, but Inman said last year, 74% of all real estate agents didn't transact or help one seller or one buyer, which is really a scary thing. The other scary statistic from last year was 4.05 million transactions, which is the lowest number of transactions in 30 years. And so our topic today is relevant, right? It's how to pick up listings, how to generate business when we've had a little bit of a tough last 12 to 18 months with rates and everything else going on out there. But expireds can really move the needle for us. And obviously, it's something at Landvoice we're really passionate about and excited about. But we love to get your expertise to talk about the follow-up and what to say to some of these expireds. So if you can, let's kind of get into some of that today.
Yeah, so we're going to fast forward. We're not going to talk about all the mistakes I made back then, all right? So I will share with you guys. So yeah, I took listings and I ended up taking 57 listings that first 6 months. The challenge was I didn't know how to price them. So I still had that many listings for sale 10 months later. So that's a whole nother story, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we're going to go forward to, I decided that I'm going to master this thing. I'm really good at closing. Obviously, people list with me, and I get a lot better at this. So I truly dove in and, decided I'm going to learn the language of real estate. I'm going to focus on these expireds. And here's a couple of things that I've learned over the years. The first one is, how many of you here, just give me like your favorite emoji in the chat or somewhere on the screen, if you've heard that you have to close 7 to 10 times. Like, everyone here has heard that, right? And yet you already shared that statistic. I think on your call last week with Debbie DeGrode, I jumped
Oh,
in.
yeah.
I've known
Yeah.
Debbie for 25 years. I love
She's
that.
amazing. Yep.
She is. And she talked about that statistic where most agents will only call one time, they get discouraged, and they never call again, right? Well, there's a book out there. I love that. You guys are hearing me, Alexander, honey. Yeah, 7 to 10 times. So let's talk about the psychology behind that. So there is science behind this. So I'll explain this first. The first time the mind hears something new, it says, I've never heard that before. It can't be true. The second, third, well, actually, the first time it says the brain does that whole thing and it says friend or foe. Should I fight or are you safe? Okay.
Yep.
Second, third time, the mind says, I've heard that before. I wonder if it's true. Fourth, fifth time, the mind says, I've heard it before and I know it's true. I wonder if it's true for me. And then the seventh, eighth time, the mind hears it. The mind says, I know it's true and I know it's true for me. So what's interesting about that is we make a call and we think they're rejecting us, and they're simply deciding, are you friend or foe, right? And so
Right.
add that on to a book that I read a couple years later. Shaun, have you ever read The Like Switch?
No. And I'm about to, though.
Yeah, it's a cool little book. Now, obviously support the author. He's an FBI agent, and his job in the FBI was to go to spies who they thought were spying and get them to confess. And and I don't remember the spy's name, but he got this spy to confess. And the spy said, I'm going to tell you I did it because I like you. And so that he goes on in this book and he talks about to have people like you and do business with you, that there's two components. The first one is duration, and the second one is frequency. So duration, let's think of, we work with a client, we take them out to help them buy a house, and we do all this work with them. They're in the car with us, or we're meeting them at houses. That's duration. So during that time, they learn to like us and get comfortable with us. The second thing is frequency. So if we've never worked with somebody before, by frequency, right? Like how many of you get emails from Shaun, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They do.
Shaun, I'm not going to ask them to admit if they open all of them, right?
That's right.
Right. That's frequency, though. So people can also start to like you by frequency. And even things like, Shaun, I'll just let's just make it real here. Your logo on the screen, my name or logo in the back, so all of those things are part of the frequency. So now we're going to add this, Shaun, onto how does that apply to expireds, right?
Okay. Yep.
Now, by the way, this could be expireds, distressed properties, foreclosure, like it could be all of them.
FSBO, right? All of it, right? Yep.
So let's talk about first the mindset of an expired. And Shaun, I've heard you say this before, like the week that the listing expires, let's think of the seller. What is going on in their mind? I mean, I've heard you say this before.
With the seller?
Yeah. Like, what are they thinking?
Well, they're thinking their last agent failed them, right? It's been 6 months, it hasn't sold, and they're thinking, why this person? They're also, in that first week, they're having a lot of conversations, right? A lot of agents are contacting them and reaching out to them.
They are. And so, I think of it like this. I like to think of everybody as my Aunt Jill. So if I picture the person on the other side of the phone as my Aunt Jill, who had never bought or sold a house till she was 68. And she called and she goes, Dee Dee, I think I want to buy a house and I think I need to get a loan. What do I do? And I
Yep.
pictured her like this, sitting at the kitchen table and me across from her, walking her through it. So the first thing is we make these calls and we tend to, as agents, make it about us and how
Yep.
we feel. So when we think about how they feel on the other line, I think of somebody who, they wanted either, maybe it was financial they had to sell and now they have the stress of this home. I also think of it as things like, maybe their partner or their children, maybe they need to change because they want a backyard where their kids can play, or they want to downsize and get next to their family, or maybe they want to get away from their family, like whatever it is.
Yep.
It didn't happen. And that's a dream that didn't happen. And all of us on here have had dreams that didn't happen. So the mindset, and then what happens is they get 80 phone calls week one from agents calling expireds. So how would that feel, right? It's tough. So
It's so hard. Yep.
it's so hard. It's so hard. Yet, here's the interesting thing we know. 50% of expireds will relist their home within 30 days. And I would write that down if I was everyone, because that's a big
Please.
number.
Yep.
And 75% of all expireds will relist their home within a year. So that's important as well as we move forward. So let's think about, so the mindset is all of this. Now, here's what happens. The first time you hear your home is expired, it can't be true. I hadn't heard that. My agent didn't tell me.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third time, fourth, fifth time. But here's the cool thing. By about 5 calls, their voicemail is kicked on and can't take any more calls.
Yep.
So now let's go to attempt 2. So most agents will call that first time and they won't call again.
Correct. That's a big thing. We talked about it last week with Debbie, but this is a really important part of expireds. Yeah. I love this, Denise.
Yeah. So they like literally they couldn't even hear from you. Now, so here's some numbers I'd also think you might want to write down. Week 1, an expired listing will get an average of 80 phone calls. Week 2, that's in any major city, okay? Week 2, the average expired will get 10 to 12 phone calls, and they're spread out over the course of the week. By the way, you don't know what day an agent's calling. Week 3, you will have 3 to 4 agents calling. And by week 4, in any market, you will have maybe 1 to 2 agents who will keep calling until, it's relisted and they take it out. So let's think this through, right? Week 2. Now, it's important to get week 1, right?
Yes. We got to brand ourselves and get our name in the pot, right?
We got to get in there. Yet week 2, call on Monday or call Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, there's a couple things I always like to think. Sunday afternoon, after church, your family's been gone, you're watching the game, and here's what happened over the weekend. What happens is I like to call it Sunday morning pancakes. Okay. Anybody here like have that ritual over the weekend? You either go to breakfast with your family or friends or go to brunch. And, during the week, your house expired on Tuesday. And I said, Shaun, you're my husband. And I'd go, Shaun, it's your turn. I chose the last agent. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. Denise, hi, I like your name, Denise. She goes to Saturday morning pancakes too. So here's what happens. So Saturday morning pancakes, you go, what are we going to do? We got to talk to an agent. It's your turn. I'm going to point my finger, right? And somebody gets the thing, and they're going to make calls Monday morning. So if you actually call Sunday afternoon, you can be the hero by giving a solution, and they got their job done, their honeydew done before Monday morning. So that's a great time to call.
That is a great time. I love that. That's a great tip. Yep.
All right. So then you're going to call week 3, you're going to call week 4, and you're going to just keep calling. Yet 50% of them will relist. Now, I want to talk for a quick second, Shaun, about using expireds or any of these targeted
services,
services, right, as your new database. Okay, so think of it this way. agents here are looking to grow their database, and they're doing things like going to meetup groups, and they're fighting for the same piece of the pie, right? So my goal is to create a database of people that nobody else is calling, and we know that agents aren't going to keep calling them. So if an expired doesn't list by the end of 4 weeks, then you're going to add them to the big expired database, and you're going to do two things during that month. Well, during month one, we do send out four postcards or 4 pieces of mail to them. I've really seen agents up their game this way. They're sending entire CMAs and all sorts of fancy stuff. Yet I'm going to say frequency. Right. This is where the frequency files in. And then the second thing is, once you get past 30 days, you're going to send them a quarterly piece of something in the mail. And by the way, a friend of mine owns a cell phone company, or he's the CEO of the cell phone company. I apologize. He doesn't own it. And I asked them about their marketing, and he said, what's interesting is mail is hot again, because people are getting less mail. I find that hard to believe, and yet I know that our mail still works as well. All right, and so you send these pieces of mail, and it's really pretty simple. It says, all of it says this, whether it's by message that you say or email or whatever it is, hey, Shaun, a while back, your home had come off the market, and a lot of our clients are choosing to jump back in the market. Would you like to discuss your options? It's really simple. Okay.
That's it. That's simple. Yeah, I love that.
Now, one other piece we add to that is this. Anybody on here old enough, now this will age me as well, to remember the memory game? Remember those tiles? And you'd lay all the tiles out when you're a kid?
One of my favorites, Denise. I love the memory game.
That's right, the memory game. Okay, yeah, a couple people. Not everyone remembers. Well, there's these tiles, and it's just a matching game. And it's like bell, strawberry, like all these little things over here. And then you got another one, and you try to find strawberry, bell. Oops, strawberry, strawberry, and you put them together. So I think of buyers and sellers like that. So now every time you take a buyer out, you're going to go to your, that's a great question, Connie. I'll get to that. So you're going to go to your, your for sale by owner, your expired list. And my goal is to always show 1 to 2 properties to that buyer that is not on the market, and it's on that expired or a FSBO list. And here's the conversation. Hey, Shaun, Denise Meyer, we talked a while back. Your home, I noticed your home still didn't sell. I've got a buyer I'm showing this weekend. I've got 2 homes to show them, and I'd love to show them one more, and they specifically want your neighborhood. And then all the other good scripts show up. If I could sell your home this weekend, would you still be interested in selling? So that does 2 things, right? The buyer loves looking at off-market properties. Some of us are still in bidding war, so you don't get into a bidding war. And when you're the other agent, hopefully you never fight with yourself, right?
It's so good. I love that script. I hope everybody wrote it down, because you took it like 2 levels deeper than what most people say in their script. So that's a perfect script.
I love it. I love it. It's so true. So really, that's what you do. You call them quarterly after that, or you call them every time you have a buyer that looks that could match them up, and you just keep it really simple. Mark, that's a great question. My point is, just make it simple, you guys. Hey, I'm showing a buyer this weekend. Homes in your neighborhood. I have 2 to show them. I'd love a third. If I could sell your home this weekend, would you still be interested in selling?
Gosh, it's like such a soft approach, and it's brilliant. Hope everybody's writing that one down.
I love this. So that's really what I wanted to share today is, it's really about putting a new system in place. I was talking to someone the other day. I was talking to an agent, and they had called and reached out, Shaun, and they had said, business is down. They didn't know what to do. And I explained this, and the agent actually said, that just seems like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it is. I get it.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. And it can, like, if we don't overcomplicate it, we can make it super simple. You know, call all of them 7 times. By the way, there was a great agent, Chris Heller, who used to be, I don't even know where he's at right now, but Chris Heller did the research long time ago. And he said the average seller that he listed with on an expired listed on week 7. Of course, that means some earlier and some later. And yet he was the only one in his market in San Diego at the time that did nothing. So let's do this. I'd love to open this up for a couple questions if we can.
Yeah, let me throw a couple at you, Denise. They wanted to verify the book. Was it The Like Switch by Jack Schafer? Is that right?
It is, yeah.
Like, Like Switch. That was one question. The other one was, what are your thoughts about voice messages? Because everybody has an opinion on voicemail and what to do there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. So week 1, don't leave a voicemail. I think it just makes them mad, to be honest.
That's good.
You know, and it's not going to matter. Whoever gets them on the phone is going to either get it if they're listing that week or not. So, you know, if you can't be one of the first to make the call or catch them before their voicemail it goes to voicemail, then I don't think it matters. Week 2, though, you only have 10 to 12 agents calling throughout the week. I think by week 2 and 3 and 4 and beyond, voicemail can be powerful. And Jake, thanks for asking that question. To go further on that, I would also say it's not just about voicemail. One of the things we're doing is we're working a lot with an AI company called Lead Rabbit AI. And what we're working to do is get these double opt-ins so we can work them. And yet we're also focusing on not just their phone number. We are looking to message them on, you know, any of the social media apps. And also you might have like a very small blurb or a website that they can go to. So that you're sending that on messaging in different ways, or maybe it's a short 30-second video clip explaining, you know, how you're different and why you'd love to work with them. So be creative when it comes to how you're reaching out to them. Definitely, if you're going to work expireds. Shaun, do we have anyone on here that are doing Facebook or Instagram ads for expired listers?
I don't know if we have anybody on here. I'd love for them to chime in if they are, because it's kind of the new way, right? Like, to avoid all the regulations with TCPA and everything that's happening right now. We love the target audiences that you can build with the FSBO or an expired database that you're working with, right?
You know, what's interesting is we started this double opt-in to allow for people to receive information from us. And then the second thing is when they say, you know, how are you different? We'll say, well, gosh, we're using AI and we can, you know, sell your home faster because, you know, we have the power of 10,000 agents in 1 week. And they go, well, what does that mean? I go, well, go ahead and opt in for our AI messaging and you can experience it yourself. So here's what's interesting. We started running this in December. So we're now about 7 weeks actually into this. We have 36 new unique leads that we did not have prior that came to us. Like, I think that's really cool in like 7 weeks, right?
Good.
And I gave you a number before. My number's a little different right now. We have about 43% of those right now are opting in for the AI. So now I'm building a database month after month of around 25 leads per month that at the end of the year will give me, you know, 300 new leads as a database that I can start working.
I love what you've mentioned twice too. I want to double click on this, Denise. The double opt-in is so important. Rob just mentioned it, and this is a really good point, Rob. There were some new regulations that were set to go live this week with TCPA that had been put on hold. It was a 12-month hold. And then there was just new legislation essentially that said not only did it put it on hold, but it put it on hold indefinitely. So we still need to be careful with do not call phone numbers. We need to be careful with robo dialers, right? But Denise, that's where you're working with the double opt-in. And these are people now in your database you have relationships with that you're free to kind of turn that marketing on and help them really grow and sell that home quick, right?
It is. It is. So, Shaun, what I'll do here today is, in fact, if you guys want to just simply copy it, I'm going to put up a QR code if you'd like to stay in my world. And, we have a whole lot of things going on in here, but you can see our double opt-in, literally just copy and paste it. It's your own. I recommend you have an attorney read through it, all that good stuff. And we're keeping it pretty simple, right? You'll see what that looks like here.
So put up that QR code, Denise. While you're putting it up, we had the question about a preferred vendor for postcards and letters. Now, I have one I want to mention. Do you have anything on your side you'd like to mention with that,
No,
Denise?
go ahead. You're talking about, I'll pull this up and it may be a little messy, but you guys will be able to see it.
There's a really cool company out there that we're going to integrate with later this year called Inked. And what Ink does is it has a robot that actually looks like a handwritten postcard or letter. And so I don't have their URL with me, but if you'll Google just Inked, Inked postcards, you should be able to find their website. And like I said, in the next 3 to 6 months, our dev team is working with their team. So literally, if you're looking at an expired, I want you to be able to push a button and send a postcard directly to that expired or FSBO. And I hope that integration later this year will happen. In the meantime, look at them or look at quite a few other groups. There's a lot of different groups out there that can help you with that.
Great questions. Great questions. All right. Well, it looks like we have about 5 minutes left, Shaun. So if you'd like to stay in touch with me, I put out an insider report. You can subscribe there. When you go there, by the way, you'll get to see that double opt-in. So go ahead and click with AI and check it out. It's fun. By the way, we're learning together because AI is changing so quickly in its capabilities. Shaun, there's something else that I wanted to give your participants.
That's right.
Today.
And we appreciate everybody being here, but I'm really excited about this announcement.
Awesome. So last year, the beginning of last year, I had a broker come to me, Shaun, and they said, I was going to come teach class. And they said, I said, what do your agents need? We'll write it for them. And she said, okay, they just need to get off their butts and go make phone calls. And I said, well, let's do a class for that. And so we created Listing Blitz 2024, which is now 2025. And in this class, we write down what are the problems that this market has? What are people saying the reason they won't list with you? And by the way, it's a listing class, not buyers, although buyers are great. And we only focus on seller listings in this class. So we write out all the problems. And then we write the conversation starter that addresses the problem. So as an example here, let me give you, here's one. Hi, we spoke a while back. Are you still watching the market? Well, this may not be for you, but home prices are an all-time high, and I see you have 3 options. Like this could be for an old seller lead. You could sit back and see what happens. You could keep the home where prices will probably keep rising, or you could learn to equity hack. Have you ever heard of equity hacking? No. Oh my gosh, it sounds like we need to meet. Like literally, we talk about these conversation starters for that specific market. And we've got a whole lot of them for all these biggest challenges, right? Here's a fun one. Let's see, do I have this one? I don't know where they're at, but here's the deal, Shaun. I'm going to offer this for your agents. Here we go. I'm going to give it to you all for free. I just love that you're here, and my goal is for you to win, because when you win, Shaun wins, we win, and we just take this market by storm. So I'm going to give you my power scripts for free, and I'm going to you'll go to agentboardwalk.com, and I've got a discount code for you, which is Landvoice 100. It's only good till next Friday. By the way, it expires at 9 a.m. next Friday. So I'll give you a week. And Shaun, we can send this in the recording out if you'd like.
Definitely.
All right. And I'm going to give you the power scripts for free because, I just think it's a really cool thing, and you guys can do an awful lot with that.
Denise, I'm typing this in chat. What was the code again? Is it Landvoice 100?
Yeah, all caps, Landvoice 100.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's the Power Scripts program. And for you guys, it's free. So so that's what we're doing here, you guys. Other things that we've got going on, we've got this AI company. If anybody wants to check out Lead Rabbit AI, we've got an AI employee that answers the phone,
It's amazing.
answers all the calls.
Yeah.
We're working on a product right now, making sure it's legal, where it can actually answer the call about buyer leads that come in and inquiries on open houses. So it's pretty cool. Our AI agent is Jessica. We love Jessica.
A couple final questions. We'll do some final thoughts here. But again, the website is agentboardwalk.com. I put a link up higher in the chat. If you can't see it, just scroll up there. Code Landvoice100, and you'll get that for free from Denise and her group. Denise, it's always positive energy from you. We just love having you on these calls. You're incredible. Any final thoughts as we're wrapping up today?
Dig in. Like, here's the thing. Pick a target market and figure out what it is that their mindset is. Write conversations that are different. Look, the closes work. The closes that we teach and we've heard all work if you can get them interested. So start focusing on your messaging and your content. Consider using social media and put ads out there for your target market. Make sure that you have an amazing follow-up system, whatever that follow-up system is, because it's duration or frequency or a combination of both. With new clients, you don't have duration. So you have to focus on frequency and pick one and go for it, because all of them work. If you pick one and stick with it, right? It has been an absolute pleasure to see you, Shaun. I always enjoy talking with you. I love what you guys are doing. And, I will, Joshua, you will go to the, I'll tell you what, I think I can find it right here for you guys.
Pull it up real quick. While she's pulling that up, guys, a couple final thoughts for me. Number one, we got to practice our scripts. We got to get better at our scripts. You're going to get those from Denise. We've got them also, some scripts in Landvoice when you log in. So let's get our scripts. Let's practice. But more importantly, let's really get good rhythms in our business of follow-up. Let's not be the agent just calls one time. Let's have conversations 2 through 7, even 7 through 10 is really the goal, isn't it, Denise?
It is. It is. And just keep going. It is an amazing, like by week 3, they're frustrated and they just have you come to their house. That's the big thing, right?
Looks like you get the link right here. Everybody should be clicking on that, agentboardwalk.com/courses. And then the code is Landvoice100, all caps. And then just one final thought from me. We do have this recorded. We will edit it today, and they normally hit our YouTube page. So go to YouTube, type in Landvoice, go to our channel. This video will be on that channel Monday or Tuesday next week.
Love it, you guys.
Wishing everybody happy Friday.
Yeah, wishing you best. Go get it.
Thanks, Denise. We'll see you.